The Gold Goddess is back. Welcome hunters! The Kulve Taroth update is now live, and with this one came unique designs for weapon transmog and upgrades for the Taroth and Kjaar hunting horns. Today we will look at the good horn you should keep and builds to go with said weapons. Quick disclaimer though, some of the Kjaar hunting horns and Taroth ones lack white sharpness, good songs, or a combination of both. They will not be featured for this specific reason. Alright, I think it's time for us to dive in. Let's go. So, regarding the armor, I'm afraid it's nothing too impressive. The skills and set bonus are nothing to write home about. The legs, however, are as efficient as the Raging Brachydios greaves when it comes to slot and skill efficiency. They might see some usage in specific mix set because of this. Do not worry though, because the weapons are definitely worth it. Here are all the good hunting horns you should keep. For raw and status we have Kjarr Crusher and Taroth Pipe Sleep, and for element we got Kjaar Myth, Dragon, Wat'er, and Taroth Pipe Wat'er. Now realistically, you only need 3 of those, and this is the priority order: Kjarr Crusher, Taroth Pipe Sleep, and Taroth Pipe Wat'er. All the KT hunting horns get custom upgrades and augments. The Kjaar weapons have built-in crit status or crit elements, while the Taroth weapons count toward the armor set bonus. Now, I have prepared 3 builds to go with our horn. For the custom upgrades, we go full attack, even for the last one. You may ask yourself, why not use a Xeno upgrade then? It gives us more sharpness, and that should be ideal, since this hunting gun has 20 hits of white sharpness. The issue with that is that for some reason, I don't know why, on Kjarr Crusher what gets extended is the blue sharpness, not the white color. Like I said, I have no idea why this is the case, but I will take this opportunity to make a PSA. The Xeno Sharpness custom upgrade does not always extend the ideal sharpness color. So far this is only the case for Kjarr Crusher and Kjaar Pipe Crusher, where it extends the blue sharpness, so make sure you pay attention to this. For augments we go 1 attack and 1 health. This is a Master Touch and Raging Brachydios mix set. Master Touch is pretty much mandatory for sharpness management on this one because we only have 20 hits of white sharpness. This set has 80% affinity on tenderized weak spots before Agitator 7 kicks in. Then it goes to 100% affinity. With the Clutch Claw and Wallbangs, it is very easy to enrage monsters even in multiplayer, thus activating Agitator pretty easily. The level 3 slot on the Kaiser Membresses can be used for Flinch Free, which I recommend for multiplayer, or Coalescence if you're playing solo or fine without Flinch Free. Half Boost 3 is a good defensive skill. It comes from our combo decals Flawless Vitality. Those and the critical Vitality decals are interchangeable, so you don't need exactly 3 of them to make this work. If you don't have 4 attack duel, or you don't like relying too much on Agitator for max affinity, here is a different version of the build. We swapped the attack for expert decals. The augments will also change. This time we have 1 affinity, 1 health, and 1 status. With 3 expert decals and 1 affinity augment, we can guarantee 100% affinity on weak spots. The bonus 20% from Agitator will help if the part is not tenderized yet. You get a free level 1 slot here. It can be used to fit Geologist 1 for guiding lens or something else. Geologist is especially useful because it lets you gather twice from 1 material drop in the guiding lens. Mantle wise, Apothecary Mantle is recommended because it's a good way to make status consistent. This build can be used on pretty much anything, but it works best on monsters which take double the damage from blast, such as Sharaj Valda, Safi Jiva, or Kulve Taroth. Now we jump to our status build, Awaken Taroth Pipe Sleep. Yes, you heard me correctly. While Pipe Sleep is our strongest non-elemental boost option, the raw boost it gets doesn't make up for the lack of blast. And non-elemental boost also got nerfed in Iceborne, which doesn't help either. If we double down on the sleep though, this hunting gun is actually quite effective. The best way to describe it is the CC of hunting gun, and I will explain why this is so interesting. So when a monster is put to sleep, no matter if they were enraged or not, they will automatically exit rage mode. It is impossible to wallbang a monster if they are enraged, but with sleep, we can circumvent this issue completely. Once they fall asleep, we can send them flying against the wall again. Depending on the monster and how fast they get enraged, you can get 1 or 2 wallbangs before this happens. Pipe Sleep's remarkably high amount of sleep means that you will be able to get a good amount of status procs during the hunt. For this reason, this build is even better in the guiding lands, because monsters always drop materials after a flint shot, and with the Geologist level 1 exploit, you can gather twice from 1 material drop. In other words, 2 wallbangs give you 4 materials. Pretty efficient. Here is how the set looks like. 3 Safi Jiva pieces for the Dragon Vein set bonus, and 2 pieces of Artful for crit status. The custom upgrades are 5 elements or status, then 1 attack and 1 sharpness. The augments are 1 affinity, 1 health and 1 status up. One of the Taroth Pipe Slave's strength is that it possesses an impressive amount of sharpness, 70 units of white, and this goes to 80 with the Xeno custom upgrade. This essentially means that we don't need Master Touch or Protective Polish for sharpness management. 3 element is usually hard to slot in if we do not use the charm, because release plus decals do not exist. Thanks to the Artian Vembraces, we only need 1 release to make this work. A release Vitality combo deco is perfect here. I like this build for multiple reasons, but mainly because it's flexible, it's easier to play around the Dragon Vase head bonus with health augment and health boost too. We are able to boost our raw with the attack charm. We can also fit Flint level 1, which is very important for multiplayer, and 2 free level 1 slots to play with. Personally, I prefer using those for Geologist and Stone Thrower, which is slinger capacity. This build will mainly be used in the guiding lands. On top of this, we get Tool Specialists for free. This is great to ensure that mantles become available faster. Typically after a flint shot, you use all your ammo and you will need to gather again if you want to repeat it. Slinger Capacity 1 increases the loading capacity of slinger ammo collected from the ground, or plants. What's so great about this is that it limits the amount of ammo used when firing certain shots, such as a flint shot. This is how you can get 2 bangs from 1 ammo stack. I highly recommend this skill because it makes you less reliant on ammo available in the area, or on teammates with light weapons to create pods. Keep in mind that the level 1 of this skill does not work on slinger ammo dropped by the monsters. If you do not need it, you can easily replace it with Fortify, which works well in the guiding lands. The Geologist level 1 deco can also be replaced by another health boost outside of the guiding lands. For the true crit status alternative, here is what it looks like. The custom upgrades and augments are the same as before. Combining the Kulve legs and the Taroth weapon lets us get Guts for free. We also get Divine Blessing 5 on top of true crit status. This set is a good alternative if you don't like Safi but it's starving for decoration slots. What I mean by this is that you only get 1 level 3 slot to play with, everything else is mandatory. For that level 3 slot, you can pick the most fitting deco based on what you need. You can use Mental slot to add what's missing. Now, how to use this build, you may ask? Well, the general strategy is to abuse the Echo attack during wallbang topples. What is so great here is that those knockdowns cannot be interrupted before the monster fully recovers. If a monster gets toppled normally, a status procs or a KO can happen and it will take priority over it, thus cancelling the previous opening. This is not the case for a flint shot topple, however. What happens instead is that you can cap the amount of status or KO needed and immediately trigger it after the monster is out of the recovery animation. This can be done because a flint shot topple cannot be interrupted like a regular topple. And now let's look at how your typical opener will be like. First, you will wallbang the monster and use this opportunity to tenderize. Then you wallbang the monster again and start to apply status with your Echo attack. Once the monster fully recovers, you get the sleep proc and collect slinger ammo. Then you wallbang the monster again. You can easily get 2 or 3 sleep procs in a hunt just by yourself. Honestly, this is a really fun and effective build, and it gets my seal of approval. And now it's time for our last build, the Elemental option. I decided to not cover the Elemental Kjaar hunting horns. While they can be strong in solo play, the fact that they come with built-in critical element means that the best way to use them is on the full Safi Jiva set. This is rather unfriendly for general play, and I wouldn't recommend it unless you are comfortable with Safi Jiva's life-draining set bonus or speedrunning. If you do want builds for those, you will find a link to an album featuring them in the description below. So, Taroth Pipe Wat'er. Upon a closer inspection, you might be wondering why I would recommend a hunting horn without attack up large. Taroth Pipe Wat'er and the Kjaar hunting horns are able to circumvent the need for attack up large because of the really high amount of element they are able to get. This is more of an exception, and it doesn't mean that element attack boost is better than attack boost. Attack up large is still more interesting to provide to a team. If you do want to use a good elemental hunting horn though, without relying on Safi, then this is your best option. Here is how you should build a set. For the custom upgrades, we go 5 elements, then 1 attack, and 1 sharpness to end it all. Augment wise, we have 1 health augment and 2 elemental augments. As highlighted in the Safi update video, Wat'er is a very good element in Iceborne because it's effective on a lot of monsters. What's so special about this hunting horn in particular is that it's able to get an insane amount of Wat'er element. To give you an idea of how impressive Taroth Wat'er is, consider this. The Laguna hunting horn, which was impressive pre-Safi Jiva update, can only reach 970 Wat'er. The Kjaar Wat'er set, which is full Safi, 3 element augments, fully buffed while Coalescence is active, goes to 1360. Taroth Wat'er with 1 health augment and 2 elemental augments, no Coalescence because you can't fit it, goes to 1390. It actually reaches a higher amount of element, surprisingly enough. Regarding the set, we go with True Crit element, 4 pieces Silver Rathalos and Raging Brachydios Helm Beta. This build is a bit complicated to make because it requires specific decos, whose true grinder and release decos are needed to get free element and speed sharpening easily in the build. We cannot fit health boost there, but health augment and mantles should be enough to give us defensive options. It is a strong elemental option which doesn't rely on Safi, and that's the main takeaway from this build. Now, how should you use this build? Because this hunting horn lacks attack up large, it is not exactly better than Aqua Horn in a multiplayer setting. Attack up large is still a better boost in general. You should use this one when playing with elemental favor weapons such as Elemental File CB, Bow, or Dual Blades, or when playing with weapons which do not benefit from attack up large, such as Sticky Light Bowgun and Heavy Bowgun because they already capped the damage of the sticky ammo, and at that point attack up large does nothing for them, and Long Gun Lance because it's a shell only gun lance and that attack up large does not work for them. And that concludes our coverage of the Kulve Taroth update. This one is not as significant as the Safi update, but it did bring some interesting hunting horns. While the Kjaar horns such as Kjarr Crusher can get better results, the Safi hunting horn are still your best customizable horns. The ability to change songs and awaken abilities while having more sharpness are still good options worth considering, especially for general play. The landscape is looking more varied with each update that's coming, and honestly I'm really happy about this. I'm really thankful that the game is going in that direction. Thank you so much for watching this video and have fun experimenting with these builds. I will see you in a different one. Bye bye!